Hi guys, good morning. My name is Crystal and welcome to my YouTube channel. Welcome all subscribers. Welcome new. If you like my videos, please press the like button and please do subscribe. Alexa, what's the time please?
The time is 8:27 a.m.
Alexa, what's the date today? Alexa, what's the date today?
It's Tuesday the 31st of January.
Alexa, what is the weather like?
Currently, in Rochester it's 5 degrees Celsius with mostly sunny skies. Today, you can expect intermittent clouds, with a high of 11 degrees and a low of 4 degrees.
Alexa, can you tell me a joke?
There are two fish in a tank. One says to the other, "How do you drive this thing?"
Excuse me. So, yesterday I told you in previous videos I'm not going to do so many videos, probably just in the morning and maybe in the afternoon. It depends on how I feel. I haven't been feeling too well lately and I'm not going to wear myself out, I'm going to rest. So basically, after meeting my son, I came back home to the flat. Max did not have his lunchtime walk. I didn't go out because I came back in to my flat. I rang my mum up and she suggested going up there. And I said I wasn't going to go up there, didn't I? But I did, because I felt so rotten yesterday afternoon. When I was in Costa Coffee, there was a gentleman that looked like my father when he had his big beard, because women don't have beards, do they? There are women out there that do have beards, but you know what I mean. The regular woman on the street does not have a moustache and a beard. So there was a man in Costa Coffee that resembled my father before he died. And he was talking to the Costa Coffee assistant, saying, "I'll see you tomorrow." He was talking about what I was talking about on YouTube, the high prices of food and the electric and gas. So I had my back turned to everybody. I had my back turned to the assistants. I had my back turned to the customers. I don't think anybody could see me. So I just didn't feel happy yesterday afternoon. When I walked down Rochester High Street, it was like, I was being... I don't know, I'm not going to say. I just didn't feel happy yesterday afternoon. And I told you, as long as I'm being treated like I believe like crap, I'm not going to enjoy shopping, am I? I didn't have the money to go shopping yesterday. I didn't. I put £30 on my gas card in the post office. And fair play, the lady behind the post office counter was working by herself with a long queue. Pretty young lady with glasses. The woman in front of me had so much money she was exchanging her euros for cash. Coin bags, notes in front of me. She had a mobile phone in her back pocket. I don't keep my phone in my back pocket because there are pickpockets and it could get lost and stolen. So there was a big queue and there was this one lady dealing with all this queue. And I just wanted £30 on my gas card, and then I left. My son had his hair cut. I came home. Maybe I do need a haircut, but I'm actually trying to grow my hair now. My poor mother's hair doesn't grow. It won't grow. And I'm lucky to have hair as I'm approaching the menopause. So I'm grateful for the hair that I've got. I don't want it cut off. So I rang my mum up and I said, can you arrange a taxi for 1:45? Because I've been feeling very faint and dizzy. The lift's out of order, and it has been for about it'll be the second week now. The lift in this block of flats has been out of order. Alexa, where am I?
You're at 7 Coys Road, Flat 5, Biggs Apartments in Rochester, Kent.
And I have been having trouble with my legs. They've been feeling numb and like jelly. And I can walk, but I'm having to say to myself, I'm having to keep myself upright by talking to myself. You're not going to fall. You're not going to keel over. When you're going through the perimenopause and the menopause, you can get dizzy. You can get dizzy spells, and I'm getting them more frequently. And it's frightening when you're outside, especially when it's dark and you're on your own and you feel like keeling over. You can feel faint and dizzy during the menopause. And that's what's happening to me. Hot flushes, feeling hot when it's freezing cold, feeling like you're carrying a radiator around with you and it's really freezing cold. And if you don't regulate your temperature, and I think that's another thing I've been doing because I've been having hot flushes, not realising how cold it really is, and my arms and legs are actually getting frozen solid because I'm feeling hot and it's actually freezing cold, which is another problem I need help with. But I'm having a doctor's consultation, not this week, next week, because I can't get a face-to-face appointment. Because it's a different issue to ovaries, is the menopause. So a taxi arrived at 1:45 yesterday afternoon. Again, it was an Asian driver, and he was covered in aftershave. And also the taxi had air freshener, and all the windows were shut. And it was awful. I couldn't breathe. I started coughing. I started choking in the taxi, choking. And it wasn't a cough. It was nothing to do with COVID or a cold. It was his aftershave, his personal deodorant, whatever he was wearing. He had a hooded coat over the passenger seat. And it was a hooded coat with a fur hooded collar. And it was over the passenger seat, and it stank. So this coat was saturated in some sort of scent, and it was making me cough. Because I sat in the back seat. I never sit next to the taxi driver. I never get in the front of a taxi and sit with the taxi driver, because years ago, when my dad was alive, a taxi driver touched my leg. If it was an accident, it was an accident, but he touched my leg. And I never sat in the front of the taxi next to a driver again. So I always sit in the back seat. Unless, you fall. Oh no, I haven't. Really haven't sat in the front seat. So this coat was choking me. Whatever was coated in this coat was coated in. It was choking me, and I was coughing and coughing. My nose was streaming, my eyes were streaming, and finally the taxi driver said to me, "Are you okay?" I went, "I've got allergies," and I have got allergies. That woman a few days ago asked me what allergies I'd got, and now my face is streaming, my eyes are running, I'm coughing. I can't breathe. He opens the window. I have to take some of all I've got in my bag is a Yahoo drink. A Yuzu drink. A chocolate Yuzu drink. And I'm drinking that, and then it stops for a bit. And then, as soon as I get out of the taxi, it stops. It was on that coat, and he was saturated in some horrible scent. Now, when I was at Lansdowne Court, Gail opposite me used to cover herself. She was a smoker. I don't smoke cigarettes. So she'd have a cigarette, and she would go out of the flats covered in what smelt like aftershave or a strong, really bad perfume, because it smelt like aftershave. She'd go down the stairs of the flats before I went out. Then when it was time for me to go out, I'd go out, and sometimes I'd feel absolutely so ill and sick after smelling what Gail had on, that I had to shut the door and wait till the smell had subsided before I could actually go out. I have bad sinuses, you see, and bad sinuses can affect your they can make you dizzy, feel dizzy and faint, strong smells. And somebody's gone down all my medical notes at the Medway Maritime Hospital, found out what all my problems are, and one of them is bad sinuses. So we opened the window, got to my mum's, and I just got out of that taxi, escaped that taxi, and my mum paid the driver, and she gave me the change out of the £20 note. I went indoors. My mum was in her jeans rolled up at the bottom, a white cardigan, and she had a bit of cotton wool over her arm where she'd had a blood test yesterday. Jennifer, my mum, had a blood test, and she said that's the second blood test the doctors had given to my mother. So my mum, Jennifer, has had 2 blood tests in a month. She showed me. They'd taken one out of that arm and one out of that arm. I haven't had any blood tests this year. I've had no blood tests this year. Although I've been offered to go for one, my annual blood test, which is on the phone I'm videotaping on. They want me to go for an annual blood test. So I went into my mum's flat. She told me to wait for her before I went in. I waited, then we went in together. I sat down. There was nothing on the table because it wasn't planned for me to go up there. And my mum gave me some bits and pieces to eat. She said she wanted to give me some money so that I was okay Friday. Well, you never know. I mean, I don't know. The hospital's arranging for a taxi to go up there Friday, but what's happening coming back? And you know, I have got wobbly legs at the moment. Very wobbly legs, and the lift is broken as well. Jackson's lifts came out, I think it was Friday or Monday, and then they disappeared. And I've not seen Jackson's lifts again, and they are called Jackson. And we remember who Michael Jackson was, don't we? He was supposed to be a very, very great, talented musician and dancer, and he got labelled a child abuser, didn't he, Michael Jackson? You have to be honest here. Why they've opted for Jackson's lifts. Why have they chosen Jackson's lifts as the provider? Anyway, well, in the land of make-believe, you can, you know, have who you like in the land of make-believe, can't you? The made-up names. And I'm sorry about referring to porn, but you know, when people are doing porn scenarios or trying to do amateur porn, and they make up silly names like Ivor Banger is the star of the show, Ivor Banger, or My Cunt. I've seen porn films, and I've seen like Porky's. If anybody's watched Porky's. Because my husband introduced me to pornography when I first got married at 18. He introduced me to porn, and we watched porn films, and he used to watch Porky's, which is like a porn film. It's like soft porn. Women are running around topless. 18 years of age, I was introduced to porn and the porn industry and private shops. Not something when you've just got out of your school uniform, and you're 18 years old. You live and you learn, and they're not getting away with it. But in in the land of make-believe. It's all made up names. In soap operas, are they real birth certificates, real death certificates, real council or what leases? It's not real paperwork. It's not real. The doctors aren't real. The police aren't real in soap operas like Coronation Street. And, I'm just getting on with everything during my day, doing what I want to do and what nobody else is. And if I don't like being treated in a certain way, I go home. See you later.